Good morning. My name is Dr. Tom Rivera. I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Studies Emeritus. Emeritus means that I retired a couple of years ago. Today is Tuesday, November the 5th, 2013, and we're located at the File Library, room 4PL 4005. And with us this morning is the director, the dean of the library, Mr. Cesar Caballeros. And Cesar, before I start the interview, would you tell us a little bit of what we're doing as far as this South Colton project is concerned? It's the oral history of South Colton.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, the Colton Oral History Project is a project that we have begun in order to document the rich history and importance of Colton to the history of this area. And we intend to interview residents as well as leaders in the community to document that history.
Thank you, Cesar. And it is an important project. We've been working on it for several months now, and it's finally come to
A good start.
a good start. And why don't we get started this morning? This morning we have Mr. and Mrs. Ayala, Sal Ayala and his wife Francis Ayala, both are residents of Colton, and Sal has been a resident of Colton for many years because he was born and raised in Colton. So Sal, welcome this morning, and Francis, welcome this morning.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us this morning. Why don't we get started, Sal? First of all, tell me, were you born and raised in Colton?
Yes.
When? ¿Cuándo?
February 17, 1925.
Ya estás viejito.
Yes. 88.
88 years
I
old.
can't switch him.
Un poquito nada más.
Poquito. Now, what about mom and dad? When did your mom and dad come
Okay.
to Colton?
My father was born in Guanajuato, Mexico. My mother was born in Jalisco, Mexico. According to the map, it's about 300 miles apart, but they met in Colton. It took him 3,500 miles to meet. I don't know why, I don't know how they met in, because my dad was very secretive. He never wanted to share anything about his own family.
And when did he come to Colton?
I figured that he came to Colton around 1905.
1905?
Yeah,
So-
he was 15 years old, and I suppose that he walked across the border because then it was an open border. I think he said that they only paid 25 cents to cross the border, and I think they used to humiliate
Uh-huh.
him, and you can go back, come back again, another 25 cents. So it was no immigration.
It was easy
Open
then.
weather.
It was easy. Now, why did he come to Colton?
Well, he was an orphan. His mother died, and his father married another lady. So the lady was very cruel to him. So he just left. And I don't know how he got to El Paso. I don't know. Maybe he walked, I don't know what kind of transportation, but he got to El Paso. He walked across. Somehow, he ended up in Crestmore, which is Ruby Doe area, Riverside.
In Crestmore, he worked for the cement plant? Did he work for the cement plant in Crestmore?
He worked in a Crestmore cement plant. Now, I probably labor up on the breaking
Uh-huh.
rock up in the hill.
Uh-huh.
And in the meantime, he worked with his future father-in-law. And I imagine that's the way that he got acquainted. Because I guess they felt sorry for him because he was an orphan, he didn't know. So I don't know, somebody felt sorry for him and he was living somewhere.
So that's how he met your mom then?
I imagine that he met my mom because he knew my grandfather, which was my mom's father.
Uh-huh.
And then somehow they ended up in Colton. I would say about 1909, 1912.
1909, 1912?
1912, yes.
So your family has been in Colton a long, long time.
Yes, yes.
A long,
We
long
have,
time.
we were 10 brothers and sisters, and 2 died in infancy. The first one was born in 1917, a boy. And the second was in 1920. The third was a little girl, Matilda, 1923. And then myself, 1925. Then I had another girl, Frances, 1921. And then the first boy that died. And then Josefina, I'm losing time because I should have
No,
put
no,
it.
don't worry about
You
it.
have a sharp memory.
He does, he does.
And
No,
then-
It's all the
and then
time.
Another
It's always
boy
reading.
that died in infancy.
Like my
And
father-in-law.
then the last ones were David and Daniel. So
No.
there were 8 survivors.
all 8 altogether. And where did you live in Colton?
We live in a 1-room,
But where,
and
where in Colton?
Maple Street, that's south, next to the Santa Fe Railroad tracks. And we lived there until I got married.
Okay.
I lived with my parents until I got married.
Yeah, Maple Street is just south of
South is
7th Street or so.
Yeah, south of
Yeah.
the railroad, south of the what is it?
The Santa Fe?
Santa Fe,
The Santa Fe Railroad
tracks.
Now,
And
where did you go to school?
I went to school in Garfield, and kindergarten in 1931. So I 1931 to the 5th grade, and then I did 1 year at Wilson School. Somehow they got the 5th grade Mexican American kids, and they got him integrated him in the Lincoln School, the old Lincoln School on
Uh-huh.
Lacadena Drive.
Where the city hall is now.
And
Where the city hall is now.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you went to Wilson, and you, after Wilson, you graduated and went to Colton High School. You went to Colton High School.
Yes.
Okay.
I went up to the 3rd junior, and then I went into the service. So I didn't graduate then.
Oh,
But I got my diploma. When I came back, I put in for it, and I took the exams,
Took his
and
test.
I got it.
Took that test I'd taken, and he got his diploma.
so you were in the Navy.
Yes,
You were in the Navy before you graduated from high school?
yes. Yeah, I went to
Okay.
service. That was during War II.
World War II.
Yeah.
And how long were you in the service?
Well, totally it's 4 years and 3 months. I was through the Second World War, and then I came out, and 90 days later, I went back and I re-enlisted again. So I put in 22 months
Extra.
afterwards in a peace Navy.
Wow, that's a long time. And now, Francis, where were your parents from?
My parents were from Mexico, from a little town called Mezquital del Oro, Zacatecas. It's a mining area, mining town. That's where I was born too. And they came back, and my father had been here before. But he went back to Mexico, married my mother, and then came to it was a ranch, the Diamond Bar in Bracan, and then they went back to Mexico, and the brother and I were born there. And they immigrated, we all immigrated back in 1926. I was just a few months old. I was born in 1925, May 11, 1925. And lived in Fontana. And after several years that my father died, later on my mother remarried to a man called Salvador Robles. And we lived Beaumont, Anaheim. And from Anaheim we came to Colton in 1942, November 17th, 1942. because of the war, they wanted him, he was a section foreman for Southern Pacific, to live in Colton because of the main line, and he had a lot more responsibility. and he
This
had
is
to
your
be
father,
involved
was that your
in-
stepfather?
My stepfather.
Uh-huh.
Yes, my father died and was buried in the mission of St. Gabriel. So that's how I happened to come here to Colton. And, but I was actually raised, like I said, in Fontana,
Uh-huh,
in a segregated school, like usual.
uh-huh.
And when I came here to Colton, I went to register my brothers in school. And I came to Lincoln School because a section happened to be this side of the railroad where Mount Vernon came to an end. And Mr. Bailey, who was the principal, meets me at the hallway, says, "What are you doing here? You don't belong here." I said, "I came to register my brothers in school." "Well, you don't belong here. Go to South Colton, go over there." And I was dumbfounded. I'm happy because we had moved. And I registered them at Wilson. Not Wilson, it was Garfield.
Uh-huh.
And two of the brothers were already in junior high.
And Francis, what year was that when you tried to register them at Lincoln? That was
It
the
was-
north side of Colton,
That was in November '42 when I first.
42?
Mhm.
So they said, you better go to Wilson, or Garfield, and you went to Garfield.
Yes.
And registered your two brothers.
Yeah, so they went to Garfield, and of course, my sister and I were in high school. My stepsister and I, so we went into high school. That's where I
Well,
met Sal.
before we get into that, tell me about that wonderful love story that, people say that there's love at first sight. There's love at first sight.
She doesn't believe me.
And this what happened at Colton High School. Sal, tell us what happened when you saw Francis.
Okay, it was junior year, and the first period was study hall up in the second floor in the main building.
The old
And,
building.
At the end of the study period, I was coming down, and I went to the front, and I was going to the algebra room, and I seen these two girls that park in the curb in a 1941 Pontiac white, and they were walking, and Francis had a white blouse and a brown skirt and white majorette boots, and then, boy, I tell you, it was about 50 feet or so. I said, somehow something clicked in here, that girl's different. So I just left, went to class. And then later on, I used to see her in the school. And I never talked to her, but I managed to write two notes to her. She never answered.
Francis, you never
I didn't know
answered.
who he was.
So the last day of that year, we had the annuals. So I got brave enough, so I went over there and asked her if she would sign it for me.
And the
she
rest
did
is
that
history.
actually. So that was the beginning.
That was the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you went into service.
Yes.
And did you keep in touch or qué pasó?
I wrote to her, I would write to her, and she never answered. I would write to her,
Bad.
and she would never answer. And so I came back in August of '45, just before the war was over. And so I went home, and I knew I wanted to see her, but I don't know, because her mother was very strict. No dating, that's it. And it happened she had a girlfriend in high school that had lived about four doors from where we lived. So she drove up to Tony's house, that's a girl, and she said, "Francis, do you know that Salvador is here for the service?" "Oh, no. Well, let's go say hi to him." So I don't know what, so they drove, I wasn't there. So they went to my house, and then Tony got off and went to talk to her mom. And did she come down? Did she come out?
Your mother?
My mom?
No.
Well, anyway, they left, and when I came home, they told me, Francis Muro was over here. So I tried more to see if I could survive. Finally got down.
He was persistent, wasn't he?
Yes, very persistent.
he
very
wasn't going to
persistent.
give
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
So
I have a question about your time in the service. Well, in the Navy, during the war years, did you see some action?
Did you see action during the war?
Yes, our ship, the first invasion, we took Marines from Camp Pendleton. And our ship was the largest landing ship at that time. And we carried Marines. There was about 5,000 Marines in our ship, fully packed. We invaded the Marshall Islands. That was February 1, 1944.
Marshall
And,
Islands.
you know, we were at war, and it was like a dream, you know, like a nightmare. I didn't know what was happening. There was a guns firing, and then, so anyway, we unloaded the Marines, and they landed, and of course, you know, the big ship was over there, lobbing shells to the island. They did it in the morning, about 5 o'clock in the morning to about 10 o'clock, 5 hours without stopping. Bang, 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 bang. The whole fleet was there. It was about 200 ships, battleships, cruisers, destroyers, landing craft, everything. But you had to do your job. You just do your job and don't mind anything else. So everybody was doing their job.
what was your job, Sal?
I was in a little boat with 5 sailors. There was 2 on each, the bow and the stern, and the helmsman and the engineer. And they had 30 millimeter guns on each side. I was in the well deck we had a 30-ton tank with 5 Marines in there. And so we unloaded and then we started going around like that, going around, a whole bunch of them going around there. When they gave us the signal, okay, go on. Now everybody started going. And there we are, you know. And you see those, it looked like firecrackers, but they were shooting at us. Just, what is the thing doing? So they're shooting at you. Like, here you are.
You were in a landing craft. You must have been in a landing craft.
So they tell the Marines, okay, as soon as you hit the beach, the ramp in front is going to go down,
Yeah.
the tank is going to go up.
Amphibian crafts.
Uh-huh.
Were there a lot of Mexicanos on your boat?
There was, I think there was 6 Mexicanos out of 400. 400. There's 6 Mexicanos. And I kept in touch with two of them still. One of them lives in Fort Worth, Texas. The other lives in San Jacinto, but they used to be from Arizona. But we go to reunions every two years.
Mm.
But the first one took 53 years to go.
Really?
We were all men when we met.
Right.
Consequently, I got 100% disability hearing because of these 5 guys. They wrote letters verifying that indeed I was in a 40 millimeter gun tub as a second loader. I used to get the clips and head it out to the first loader, and he would drop them in the street.
Mhm.
And we did that in Okinawa and all of it. Only other than it.
Sal, out of Colton, out of the city of Colton, we had approximately 397 people, young men that fought in World War II. Did you ever join any of the posts like Fidel Hernandez posts? I don't know what the number is, but were you part of that group that got together afterwards?
The American Legion?
Yes, the American Legion.
When you worked to get it, the Post Hernandez, you worked to get it started?
The American Legion post in North Colton, 155, was in First World War, and one of the gentlemen contacted one of the fellows in South Colton if they would be interested in starting a post. Well, it was dormant. They couldn't get the necessary people to join. You got to have a certain amount 10 members or so, they couldn't get it. So I heard about it. So I contacted this gentleman. I said, I hear that you have papers that you want to start a post here. And he says, well, I've been trying to get the guys and I can't do it. So I don't know what I'm going to do. And says, well, would you mind if I try to get the people? He says, and he was kind of a change. He says, well, you can try it if you want to, you know. I thought that I wasn't going to do it, you know. And at that time, I wasn't working. I was getting I was getting some money. I forget what it was, but it wasn't the 23rd. They gave you $20 a week for 52 weeks, 52.20. I didn't apply for that, but anyway,